to make some people famous. Hold on. Come here, bud. This is Mittens. Mittens is the heavy metal kitty. We're making him famous. Actually made himself famous on the last video. Now, it's official. Look at this kitty. He's awesome. Go on, Mittens. Brothers of the Sonic Cloth. Yeah, I know. The name's weird. He reacts to the things I do. It's weird. Brothers of the Sonic Cloth. New band. Debut album. 2015. These guys are a bit hard to describe. Kinda, sorta. It's just that they have a lot of surprises to offer. It was a surprise, actually, that I even was recommended this, and it even fell upon my radar. We gotta make them famous. We gotta do it. Because these guys were a surprise that was very worth taking, very worth undergoing. It was an album that will shock you. Now, whenever you first put this on, whenever you first start it, you're going to immediately get a couple of different sensations. You're going to look at some song titles, or not song titles, but song lengths, and immediately think, well, obviously this is a doom metal band. Maybe an Ahab style, maybe one that's, yeah, it's got some length to it. And then you hear some of the music, and all of a sudden you start to think maybe it's a little bit of a mixture of I Hate God, or Down, or anything of that variety, and you wouldn't be wrong. You wouldn't be wrong. It's just that there are so many different surprises that this album offers. This album offers surprises in the fact that its riffs are actually very solid and well designed. This isn't something that necessarily goes at 1,000 miles an hour. In fact, specifically speaking for the style of music that we're talking about, it excels whenever it chugs along very, very slowly. It creates atmosphere, it creates density, it actually really adds a little bit more to the overall sinister feel of these tracks. But this is a band that also is not afraid of sparsing together a couple of killer riffs and passages. These are not lyrics that all need to be growled. There's clean singing, there's rasping, there's various stylings of vocalization that just tend to add another layer, a secondary or tertiary layer in some cases, to a track to really help it achieve kind of that it factor. I remember there was an album a couple of years ago, 2 years I believe, maybe even 3, it's been a while, that I spoke about that was of the doom metal variety, that its hugest bane was the fact that it was very boring. It was too monochrome. It was one that was very stuck upon its simple ideas, and it didn't feel the need, the compulsory need to kind of step outside the box a little bit. It took minimalism a bit too far, to the point where it actually hurt the band itself. I'm sure some elder members of the nation remember who I'm speaking about. I wish that I could. Where Brothers of the Sonic Cloth excel where that band failed is the fact that they do take the opportunity to move their music in different directions. They take the chance of going outside of that box that many bands tend to be trapped within. They actually aimed to be a little bit more than just what a subtext or a subgenre states that you are supposed to be, and added their own little spin to it. The album isn't flawless. The album isn't necessarily going to be one that's going to captivate everyone. This is not one that's going to speak to every single metal fan. It's not going to speak to somebody who likes aggressive speed or thrash metal because it doesn't have enough energy to it. This is one that's based soulfully around atmosphere and actually creating kind of a haunting, cerebral, very unique, sparse element of melancholy. And underneath that melancholy, provide a hint of discord, a hint of ill feel. It's not going to apply to bro metal fans or fans of modern metal because they won't see anything that feels relevant to them. It won't have that unique stem or charm that will really captivate them. It's not going to sound like something that they could jam to their bro's house to get drunk to. If it were me, I would, but I'm weird. No, this is going to captivate to a smaller audience, but that smaller audience should be one that grows. It's one that should be more widely accepted and more widely embraced by various individuals, because this is a style that actually boasts a lot toward composition. It's one that showcases two key qualities of music. Number one, you don't have to do a lot in order to really drive your point home. And two, the way to do that is atmosphere, motherfucking atmosphere. Good Christ, if you can command the atmosphere and the body of your song, if you're able to control your environment and create something that has that sinister touch to it, all of those keystones of something that's haunting, then you are able to command a style such as this. Brothers of the Sonic Cloth do that and do it well. The Immutable Path, which should have been the final track, but they did put an outro that just doesn't exactly close the album with the same haunting tone. The Immutable Path sounds like a war cry, because you have this war drum in the background and you have this kind of off-kilter music that surrounds it, almost as though an army is coming, and all that you're hearing in the background are the explosions of the war drums that you can hear from the earliest onset. That's the first thing that you hear, but you're starting to hear voices, you're starting to hear tones, you're starting to hear something that just doesn't sound right. Something that just does not sound pleasant. And it does this so well. It does this in a way that really sets so many scenes within your head. You can have an imagination with this music. You can actually set a scene to this music. And that's another great touchdown. Bravo to this band. Bravo to you gentlemen, if you happen to watch this video. 87 out of 100. Hugely captivating debut. I look forward to reviewing your work again in the future. Nation, all I have to say to you guys is, if you see this somewhere, grab it. If you want to sample it first, in case you're still not convinced, it is on Spotify. Make these guys famous. Do it for Mittens. Mittens? Oh, okay, Mittens doesn't want to speak. He's being strangely shy tonight. He's a fan, though. Mittens loves Brothers of the Sonic Cloth. It's fucking badass, right? Iron Maiden and Brothers of the Sonic Cloth? Coolest fucking cat in history.